They laughed when she walked in. A quiet woman in a faded cardigan, clutching an old Glock. The elite champion smirked, sure she didn't belong. But when she raised her weapon and fired, the echo didn't just break the silence. It shattered the champion's record, and his pride forever. The air inside the elite shooters club trembled with power. Every shot rang like thunder through the glass-paneled hall, where marble floors reflected designer boots and arrogance. The scent of gunpowder mixed with expensive cologne. The smell of victory bought, not earned. At the center stood Blake Radcliffe, America's golden marksman. His custom Remington shone under spotlights as he squeezed the trigger. Crack! Another perfect bullseye. The crowd erupted, polite applause layered with envy. Blake lowered his rifle with a practiced grin. To him, shooting wasn't competition. It was confirmation. Each flawless shot reminded everyone that perfection belonged to the privileged. He basked in attention, his smirk sharp as steel. Precision, he said, turning toward the audience of CEOs and senators. Isn't luck. It's in the bloodline. Laughter rippled through the room. But outside those shining glass doors, someone very different waited. Someone with no fame, no sponsors, and no intention of being anyone's punchline. Within minutes, her quiet arrival would turn this temple of ego into the stage for a reckoning no one saw coming. The doors opened with a soft hiss. Emma Miller stepped inside, holding a worn leather purse and a single envelope. Her jeans were plain, her cardigan faded, the kind of woman no one noticed twice. At the reception desk, a young attendant gave her a look that landed between pity and dismissal. Members only, she said automatically. Emma held up the envelope. Day pass, she replied softly. A gift. Across the range, Blake glanced over. The sight of this plain stranger among tailored jackets amused him. Well, he muttered to his friends. Someone took a wrong turn on the way to Walmart. Their laughter carried. Emma walked past them without a word, her gaze fixed on the row of targets. Her calm irritated Blake more than defiance ever could. She didn't know it yet, but every whisper, every smirk was fuel. And when she finally raised that simple Glock, all their noise would fade into stunned silence. Blake strolled over, confidence dripping from every step. Ma'am, he said loudly, this isn't a knitting circle. Sure you're in the right place. Laughter again. Emma looked up, calm eyes meeting his sharp blue ones. Just here to practice, she said. Tell you what, Blake smirked. 10,000 says you can't hit the bullseye. From 50 yards. A hush spread. Emma hesitated, then twisted the gold ring on her finger. Once, twice. I don't have that kind of money. Then it's simple, Blake said. If you miss, you leave. If you win, I pay. She stepped to the line, movements measured, almost reverent. The Glock rose, shoulders relaxed, deep breath, crack. The target slid forward. One perfect hole, dead center. The crowd froze. Blake's grin faltered. For the first time all afternoon, the king looked uncertain. As the crowd whispered, Emma's mind drifted back to a quiet Vermont field years earlier. Her husband Nathan, strong hands adjusting her stance. Relax your shoulders, he'd murmured. Steady hands win battles. Nathan Miller had been a Navy SEAL sniper, legendary for calm under fire. To him, precision meant survival. To Emma, it became connection, the one way to share the world he couldn't describe. When he deployed, she waited through long silences and short calls. Then one April morning, silence became forever. Folded flag, a line of uniforms, a widow's tears. After the funeral, she packed away the guns. For 3 years, she couldn't face the echo of a shot, until a letter arrived. It was from Nathan's teammate, Michael Reeves. He made me promise to remind you. Keep practicing. Don't disappear. That day, she decided to try again. The day pass to the elite shooters club was Michael's doing. Push back into life. And now, standing before the man who mocked her, Emma realized this was more than target practice. It was a promise kept. Humiliation burned through Blake's pride. Beginner's luck, he snapped. Let's raise the stakes. 3 bullseyes at 75 yards. 50,000. Gasps rippled through the spectators. Emma's answer was steady. If I win, the money goes to the Veterans Support Fund. Fine, Blake sneered. If. Emma took position again. The range fell silent. One breath, one squeeze. Crack. Perfect. Another. Crack. Perfect. The third. Crack. Dead center. 3 flawless bullseyes. Applause erupted, louder than any Blake had ever earned. The champion's jaw tightened. You rigged something, he muttered. The range manager, Rebecca Johnson, stepped forward. No tricks, Mr. Radcliffe. Those shots were clean. Blake turned away, rage twisting his face. Then next week, he growled. A real match. You and me. 10 weapons. 10 distances. Winner takes all. Emma simply nodded. Deal. The story spread across Boston overnight. The unknown woman who beat the champion. In his penthouse, Blake raged. Find out who she is, he ordered his investigator. No one shoots like that without training. Days later, the report came. Emma Miller, widow of Navy SEAL sniper Nathan Miller. The revelation hit like recoil. The champion who mocked her now knew she'd learned from a legend. Meanwhile, in a quiet suburban range, Emma trained alone. She unpacked Nathan's old notes, pages filled with calculations and scribbled advice. Breathe through the fear. Her hands steadied with every round. The sting of grief turned to focus. As dawn rose before the match, she whispered, Wish me aim, Nathan. Across town, Blake checked the lineup. 10 stations, 10 weapons, and a few subtle modifications arranged by his technicians. Let's see how the widow handles pressure, he muttered, unaware that what he'd tampered with would expose him instead. The elite shooters club had never been this crowded. Cameras lined the walls. Every elite member wanted front row seats for redemption or ruin. Rebecca greeted both competitors, her tone neutral but eyes wary. She'd noticed inconsistencies in the equipment. Heavier triggers, adjusted sights. Nothing she could prove, but enough to smell sabotage. Everything ready? Blake asked smoothly, already posing for the cameras. Emma only nodded. Her calm unnerved him. Station 1, handguns. Blake fired with practice speed, perfect grouping. Emma followed, slower, deliberate, and matched his score. Station 2 to 5, rifles, shotguns, carbines. The scoreboard flickered back and forth, Blake's precision against Emma's poise. The crowd began murmuring. The outsider wasn't fading. She was keeping up. By Station 6, the tension was thick. Emma felt the tampered trigger. It dragged slightly. She adjusted mid-shot, compensating effortlessly. Her bullet found the center anyway. Rebecca's eyes widened. She adapted. By Station 9, they were tied. Blake approached her with a cold smile. Your husband trained you well, but experience beats sentiment. Emma met his gaze. He also taught me integrity. Something you should try. The final round, Station 10, featured Blake's pride. A custom Macmillan A338 sniper rifle. Weighted, complex, merciless. Blake shot first. 9 bullseyes out of 10, a record-level score. The audience cheered. He bowed slightly. Then Emma stepped forward. She opened Nathan's notebook beside the stand. Wind adjustment, breathing cadence. Everything he'd once taught her. She inhaled, exhaled halfway, and fired. Crack. Perfect. Another. 9 straight. For the final shot, a reflection of light flashed near Blake's entourage. A distraction. She closed her eyes for half a breath, refocused, and squeezed the trigger. The bullet cut the air and tore through the absolute center. Silence. Then thunderous applause. Rebecca lifted the scorecard. Emma Miller, champion. Blake's grin snapped. Impossible, he shouted. She cheated. Rebecca's calm voice cut through the chaos. Actually, Mr. Radcliffe, we reviewed security footage. She turned a tablet toward the crowd. Video of Blake's technician altering firearm settings. Gasp spread. The tampering worked against Mrs. Miller, Rebecca added. And she still won. Reporters surged forward. Cameras flashed. Blake's legacy crumbled in seconds. Sponsors withdrew. The board suspended his membership indefinitely. Emma said nothing. She only nodded toward Rebecca and quietly requested that Blake's forfeited winnings go directly to the veterans' charity. That night, news headlines blazed. The widow who defeated the champion. And somewhere above the noise, she imagined Nathan's proud smile in the quiet between heartbeats. Months later, in a small training hall funded by donations from that match, Emma stood before 6 veterans learning to shoot again. "Steady hands," she told them, "don't come from talent. They come from surviving storms." Her husband's name now graced a plaque above the range, the Nathan Ghost Miller program. As she guided a trembling rookie's hands toward the trigger, she smiled. Some victories echo long after the applause fades. And sometimes the quietest people leave the loudest mark, one perfect shot at a time.